Woohoo, baby, it's been 2 months since the official release date of 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury, and by this point you probably don't give a shit about this review. Either watch gameplays or other reviewers who aren't even better looking than me. I actually pre-ordered this way before its release date, and because, believe it or not, I was pumped up for this. Never got the chance to play 3D World, plus Bowser just looked badass in Bowser's Fury. It was an instant cop, but did it lift that expectation? Well, let's go over it, shall we? Because I love Mario. You love Mario, we all love Mario, right? Be aware that this is a two-part video of me reviewing two different games similar to the Ori series, except I won't make this complicated. I will briefly explain what it is with each chapter within a small amount of time. I have some special news to announce by the end of this review, so stick around afterwards for more. A lot has happened from preventing me to express my thoughts on these games, but now that we're here, enough chit chat. Let me tell you all my thoughts going and coming out of these two projects and why I feel the way about them. I don't have much to say for the intro, so here it is. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury released on September 12th this year. Let's get into it. In 3D World, your main goal is to successfully capture fairies. That's it. Literally saving fairies that Bowser captured in through these quest lines with numerous, adventurous, most hectic worlds to discover. Bowser's Fury is, however, different in a joyous way, for a small project that might come to your surprise. And unlike Bowser's Fury, 3D World initially released on the Wii U, which makes me question what other old Nintendo projects will come and be portable for the Switch. Anywho, for a game that came out 8 years ago, aged pretty well. Either that or this is more HD. I never got the chance to play or own a Wii U, so I wouldn't know. Point here is it looks good, but looking good doesn't always mean it's good itself. 3D World is very, very similar to 3D Land. One of my favorite games on the 3DS, which by the way turned 10 years old this year. Congrats. It gave me a little bit of that nostalgic feeling on the big screen, so I was thankful and cheerful for that reason. It's quite skeptical to compare these two in terms of how they confront each other with similar ideas, making it their own. One thing to point out that you probably already knew, so that there wouldn't be any point in saying, but I'm still going to say anyways, is that in 3D World you can play up to 4 players, and in Bowser's Fury 2 players. Play with friends or family, whichever you're vibing with, making the experience worth your while. With that being said, let me give my honest thoughts on these projects. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury are impressive in so many ways, specifically Bowser's Fury, because coming into this small project, I didn't expect much from it, more than I should have. It opened your eyes for a more livelier experience from being chased by the Mega Bowser to turning into Super Saiyan Mario. You can climb walls as Cat Mario, ride a ski, chase a rabbit that apparently walks on water, turn into a shell, launch into the sky, ride on top of a dinosaur that doesn't even exist, and so much more. Mario games throughout these years continues to evolve with enthusiastic ways to expand these levels and ideas. It seems to me that there are always new things to look forward to that doesn't necessarily involve with past predecessors. To be straightforward with you, I'ma just say this now, I enjoyed Bowser's Fury 10 times more than I did with 3D World. Maybe because it reminded me a little of Odyssey's mechanics with the movement and speed, and that there's always something so unexpected in each island. The further you reach, the more challenging it can get. Can't say much with 3D World in terms of true challenge. Its difficulty lags with a problem in most Mario games. It's too childish these days. I want that sunshine difficulty type level with less bullshit, cause that game is unbalanced as hell. Maybe if 3D World didn't have a questionable plot and wasn't so damn slow, I would have fairly enjoyed it along with Bowser's Fury. With each level in not only 3D World but Bowser's Fury are outrageously glorious, my guy. I can't tell you how the amount of times I actually died falling off the map while trying to get a better angle or view. With each interaction, it continuously keeps its pace, particularly in Bowser's Fury. My favorite thing in Bowser's Fury and why I seem fond in this is that every once in a while, the Mega Bowser, who is on his period, chases you throughout the entire game with no breaks to keep the game going with the player's movement or just simply throw the player off. Cause it sure as hell threw me off. I also like that when Bowser's Jr. becomes your acquaintance, it gives you this option that you can either set it to him consistently help you, or press a certain button to tell him where to go, cause beat it pal, I can kick your dad's ass on my own without your help. Like I said before on the topic with my opinions, these levels are too simple and doesn't help that they're short even if you believe they're long. Trust me on this, you'll understand when the time comes. Bowser's Fury makes up for it with a more open-minded tool of unnecessary instructions when you already have everything written in your head, but leaves you wondering how you can reach that step. Okay, straight up, I dislike the combat here. That's right, even in Fury, except it's the clashes with Bowser I have a problem with. Like, why when I attack this dude, I end up doing only 1 HP damage when if he hits me, I go doo 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 doo, even in Super Giant Cat Super Saiyan mode. It's ridiculous. Thankfully, I didn't die within those battles because I'm a pro. My muscles goes into gaming for a reason. Well, can't say the same for 3D World, and it's funny because it really seems like I'm bullying the game when I don't think it's a bad Mario game. There are 2 things. 1, the difficulty. 2, the controls. I didn't feel comfortable moving around jumping using these different characters, and it felt off, uneven and unscathed. It didn't sat right with me is what I'm trying to say here. When you have all these items and various ways to use, not only for the platform but combat, is a fair, solid approach that I do have to admire. Not much here, the enemies are just stubborn and persistent when it comes to giving away their position. It's a pain to deal with unless you're either used to it or know how to deal with it, and I'm stubborn, so right back at you. But combat for the most part doesn't feel neat unless you have the items like the fireball, frisbee thingy, that bell that's OP if you use it well enough, and that raccoon tail that I thought was the cat in a weaker form. If you have all the above, you're bound to get an A+ in the Mario Combat class. At this point, you're probably wondering, the hell is there a reason to mention this? Realize that my banner on the channel is literally reviews, gameplays, quality. That's what Hypebeastman is all about, so once quality is in the mix, the video is going to be fire before the preparations even get started. Let me begin by saying I like that you get to choose whichever character you want to play as in 3D World. I did hope to see more optional choices given, but I won't be too greedy. When playing with friends, you can either work together or throw them into ghosts, like I did here with my cousin when he came over. 3D World can be fun depending on your motives. You're either feeling it or not. What ruins it for me is that the levels being short and dull. Like, why am I here just to suffer? On top of that, man, all I'm asking for is a difficulty curve to force me to adapt and get better, to make me feel like a champ. Unlike 3D World, Bowser's Fury does tremendously that if you just forget the early game. If you like Odyssey, you'll like Bowser's Fury. That's what it basically is in terms on gameplay, cause man, once you capture 50 stars, get ready for the brutality to occur across the map. I remember posting this on IG and said that I'm instantly copying this, and the same way I felt before these dropped is the opposite on how I feel now, on which I believe would perform better overall. And as it's overall, I was wrong by a whole milestone, with Bowser Fury not being at all what I had thought to be, and 3D World feeling so sluggish, leaving a room with no improvement. Especially with the knowing fact they released 2 years after 3D Land, which was refreshing at the time, proves a point. Even so, with the wows and woes in a certain phases, I can't lie to myself and say I wasn't having a good time once in a blue moon when it was right. Super Mario 3D World gets a 6 out of 10, while Bowser's Fury gets an 8 out of 10. Before I talk about the big news I have, I want to dedicate this video to my buddy that I knew for quite some time now. His birthday was this weekend. To show my gratitude, I wanted to go all out on this one, just for him, and as a gift, so happy birthday, my nyucka. I appreciate you. I know you're watching this, so it's all love, bro. Now here's the news. Starting now, this will be the last day I will post on IG Gaming Store, so unless you already have that notification on the bell, you will not receive any news from me. I've been busy and only am gonna get busier, which is also why in May I will only drop a vid, that special vid. After that, I'll be going on a month of break. I love this channel and I love those who supported me since day one. Be on the lookout for the channel because this month is Review Fest, meaning mad reviews coming on this channel. So enjoy, and peace, y'all. Making this video is devastating to hear that I found out that one of my favorite rappers to ever exist has passed away at the age of 50. Rest in peace to DMX. I'm going to bump his shit after this is done uploading. So, rest in peace.